Hickson Gracie said, fighting is not a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing. The etymology of the word religion comes from a few different sources. Some of its earliest meanings are divine service, religious observance, a religion, a faith, a mode of worship, a cult, sanctity, or holiness. Certainly in the sense of the word worship meant by the Saxons, who used it to mean something worthy of giving reverence or the condition of glory, we can say that practicing jiu-jitsu is an act of worship. Its divinity is inherent. It's an act that brings us closer to the divine, present not only in ourselves, but in strength in combat, in the execution of skill, in the mastery of an art, and in the practice of a warrior lifestyle. As for faith, the word comes from a root meaning of trust and belief. There's no organized religion on earth that puts its systems and dogma up for debate quite like grappling and combat sports. The sacred cows and structures of practice are constantly being tested, examined, taken to war with each other, and in some cases destroyed or replaced with a more evolved form. The early translations of the word religion also had connotation to bind together, a definition shared with the Sanskrit roots of the word yoga, as we explored in Yoga for the Kali Yuga in issue number 1. In a time when so many different options for religion are presented, and everyone from comedians to professional actors are shilling themselves as spiritual gurus, the question may be raised, what is spiritual truth? What kind of spiritual life is one worth following or devoting oneself to? If someone is desirous of a deeper narrative and wishes to avoid the nihilism and meaninglessness preached in today's marketplace, where can they go for something real, something not corrupted or commodified, something pure? My argument is that they need look no further than the grappling arts for an expression of unpolluted, beautiful spiritual practice, or sadhana. The point was already made in the previously mentioned article that jiu-jitsu certainly qualifies as yoga in its ancient sense. Throughout all these shifts, if we look at some of the themes which remain consistent across the various disciplines, we can see a pattern emerge that may look familiar to those of us in the grappling arts, and even weightlifting or other kinds of physical training. Breath control, posture and positional control, bodily awareness, meditation, flexibility, the linking or yoking of things together, of technique to technique, the act of paying attention to the interaction between things of cause and effect, and so on. All of those things that are integral to jiu-jitsu, and of course martial arts in general, make it clear that the term yoga certainly applies to these endeavors.
So I may come here.
For many longtime jiu-jitsu practitioners, it's common to hear them refer to their jiu-jitsu and their relationship with it not as a simple martial art, but as a way of looking at the world, a way of understanding things, and a total lifestyle. This is a common perception within yoga as well, and there's a quote in a treatise on the subject that states, "For every man, a different yoga." To dive deeper into this concept, we have to answer the question, what is spirituality anyway? A cursory internet search reveals many variations on a similar theme, a common one being that spirituality is essentially a belief in or a connection to something greater than oneself. Other interpretations put it in line with the framework of one's deepest values or codes, and still others say it's a word given to the ongoing search for meaning in one's life. Grappling can certainly fill these shoes, and it's an ongoing discipline that proves one's beliefs. Where religion in an organized fashion is often more focused on orthodoxy, that is, correct belief, grappling is interested more in orthopraxy, that is, correct practice. Theories by themselves in the fighting world don't hold much water until they're put to the test in practice, and someone can claim to love jiu-jitsu on Instagram until they're blue in the face, but it'll be shown for what it is when they hit the mats. Although no one can quantify how much of a Christian someone is based on their words, you can see it in the actions of an individual. The same holds true for fighting. Those who talk the biggest game are inconsequential to those who play the biggest game.
Sweep the double off.
Jiu-jitsu also allows a connection to this kind of spirituality. That is, one that allows the individual to continue to extrapolate deeper truths and meaning from its practice, and the mental exploration of this practice, without dogma or discussion. In other words, it is a spiritual path that can be walked without the need for putting things into boxes or talking it to death. The simple moments of attaining the flow state during a particularly smooth or mindless roll, the feeling of reward and invincibility after a competition win, or the connection felt during training with a favorite partner. These things are self-evident and wonderful without need for explanation. Many adhere to a religious doctrine out of the need for community, another aspect that a good training group will fulfill admirably. This is one of the areas where gyms either attain with great success or they fail miserably. Community and connection are two of the most important things to the human being, and those places unable to provide this in a meaningful way for their members outside of the building itself are missing a vital factor. Religion is also used as a form of alchemy, an improvement system for those adherents who earnestly practice the tenets of their system. Again, I make the argument that Jiu-Jitsu solves this issue. I know plenty of terrible people who train martial arts, but I know very few martial artists who are terrible people. There's a distinct difference between the two, in my opinion. Anyone can approach fighting systems as a blunt instrument, a tool to make war, and there's nothing wrong with this approach fundamentally. However, those people are selecting only the fruit from the tree and missing out on root, branch, blossom, and leaf. A true appreciation for and adherence to the martial arts requires humility, respect, emotional intelligence and maturity, discipline, time management, and 1,000 other positive elements that the true and devoted practice of this art will foster and grow within the devotee. Grappling also ultimately provides us with what Nietzsche claimed all men wanted: danger and play. Two factors integral to his development: the feeling of real danger and risk, and the entertainment and fun of playing a game. Anyone who has competed or fought in the street has felt the surge of adrenaline, the high stakes, the element of true danger. Everyone who is trained has enjoyed the simple pleasure of roughhousing that takes some back to childhood on the playground or with siblings, and I've surely seen more laughter on the mats than tears or anger. In conclusion, it's my belief that an adherence to Jiu-Jitsu and the underlying art and alchemy of it makes an individual who desires it to become part of something special. An unspoken and clandestine order of warrior monks who use the art of grappling to answer their deep need for meaning and connection, expressed without the requirement of a single word. And this is a beautiful thing to be a part of.